أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من اللعين الشيطان الرجيم بفضل الله بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله لقد جاءت رسل ربنا بالحق والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا وشفيع ذنوبنا المبعوث رحمة للعالمين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد صلى الله عليه وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا لا سيما بقية الله في الأراضين أرواحنا لتراب مقدمه الفداه أيها الإخوة المؤمنون أيتها الأخوات المؤمنات السلام عليكم جميعا ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. أوصيكم عباد الله ونفسي بتقوى الله عز وجل والورع عن محارمه. I do remind myself and all of you to obtain taqwa, the consciousness about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to be careful in our actions, in everything that we do, remembering that we are going to be accountable for all the deeds. I would like to continue with my discussion on Du'a Makarim al-Akhlaq from this part where Imam alayhi salam says, Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad wa abdilni min bighdati ahli al-shana'an al-mahabbah wa min hasadi ahli al-baghi al-mawaddah wa min dhinnati ahli al-salah al-thiqah. In our last Friday, we discussed about these first two lines. That is, O Allah, replace for me the animosity of the people of hatred with love, and the envy of the people of insolence with affection. And today we continue with this line, وَمِن ذِلَّةِ أَهْلِ الصَّلَاحِ الثِّقَةِ. So Imam teaches us in this line to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He replaces the suspicion of the good people, the righteous people, with thiqah, with good opinion, with trust. And a reflection on this line leads us to understand this. That first of all, it is not right for any person to assume that the opinion of other people do not matter, and that whatever people think, it's okay. And therefore, one should just consider or concentrate on whatever he does. Whatever I do, it's up to me. It's my business and no one's business. We are drawn to attention that there are certain types of suspicions and opinions about a person that matter. If the people who are having doubts and suspicions are from the group of fusaq, these are the treacherous people, the wicked people, the people who are unrighteous, if they develop a certain thinking, certain thought about you, and they develop suspicions against a person, it might not matter a lot, because these are Ahlul Fusaq, Ahlul Fisq. This is their way of life, thinking negatively about others, thinking maliciously about others, and accusing them of things that they may not have done. That is their way of life. That is al-fisq, because the wretchedness in them, the wickedness in them leads them to think wrongly about other people. إِذَا سَاءَ فِعْلُ الْمَرْءِ سَاءَتْ ظُنُونُهُ. If a person is wicked, if a person is a wrongdoer, he would think that everybody else does the same thing. So he will develop suspicions about people, even if they do not deserve so. Sometimes people who are not wicked, people who are not necessarily wretched and wrongdoers, they may also sustain certain suspicions against people. They are not among the Ahl Salah, they are not among the Ahl Fisq. But they start thinking wrongly about a certain person. To this level also it might not matter a lot, because it is not out of the good opinion that they would suspect somebody. It is maybe something that comes out of wrong thinking and wrong attitude. So a person may not bother a lot about certain kind of thinking. But when the suspicion is from the righteous ones, from the good people, when they suspect about somebody, when they accuse or point fingers to you, and normally the righteous people are those ones who are careful not to accuse a person wrongly, and they would try to interpret everything about him. احمل أخاك على أحسن محمل. They try to develop a good opinion and interpretation about a person. So they would say, maybe it was because of this and that he acted in this way. It was for this reason that he was in this place. They would want to find some excuses for a person. So they do not rush into judging a person, nor do they also develop trust very quickly about a person. These are the righteous ones, because the aql, the reason, leads us to be cautious about making an opinion about others. وَلَا تَقْفُ مَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِهِ عِلْمٍ إِنَّ السَّمْعَ وَالْبَصَرَ وَالْفُؤَادَ كُلُّ أُولَٰئِكَ كَانَ عَنْهُ مَسْئُولًا. So we are not supposed to follow our suspicions. We are not supposed to follow that which we do not have knowledge about, because everything is going to be questioned, of what we had, of what we claim to have seen, of what we keep in our hands. Everything is going to be accountable for. And then again we are told, وَاجْتَنِبُ كَثِيرًا مِنَ الظَّنِّ. Distance yourself from a lot of suspicions. إِنَّ بَعْضَ الظَّنِّ إِثْمٌ. Surely some of the suspicions lead to evil, lead to ithm, to a sin. So Ahlul Salah, they are those people who are careful, who exercise caution. They do not develop suspicions anyhowly. If such people of Ahlul Salah, the righteous ones, start pointing a finger to you, start developing certain suspicions about you, accusing you of certain things, then this cannot be felt as normal. They cannot be taken as normal. It cannot be treated in the same way the suspicions from the wicked ones may be treated. Because these are Ahl Salah, these are the righteous people. So when they develop a certain opinion about you, then it means there's something wrong. When they accuse you of certain things, then it means there's something wrong that you need to pay attention to. And Imam here points us to this thing, that, oh Allah, change the opinion of the righteous ones about me, the suspicion of the righteous ones about me to become that of trust. That they develop trust in me. You cannot just say, it doesn't matter. It is up to me. It's my business. I will act the way. No. Imam is teaching us here also to pay attention to the opinion of other people, how they look at us. And that it's important to gain trust and confidence of the righteous ones. Look, in the Holy Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, قُلِ اعْمَلُوا فَسَيَرَ اللَّهُ عَمَلَكُمْ. Say, act, carry out your actions, do whatever you should be doing. So surely Allah is going to witness your deeds, وَرَسُولُهُ وَالْمُؤْمِنُونَ. And the Prophet will witness your deeds, as well as the mu'minun. Of course, these are the ones who are the top of the group of mu'minun. These are Imma alayhim salam. They are made to witness our a'mal and our deeds and to know what we are doing in this world. You are asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this line that you should reach to a level of trust, a level of confidence in the ranks of Ahl Salah, amongst the Salihun. You be a person who is trusted and who the Mu'minun and As-Sulaha have a good opinion about. This is not something simple. This calls on a person to check on his behavior, on his own actions, in way he carries himself out, in things that he does, to avoid entering into places where one would be easily accused. In the riwayats we are told, if a person puts himself in mawdi' al-tuhma, where he can be accused, where now he opens gates of other people talking about him, then he should not blame but himself. When you put yourself, you expose yourself, and you put yourself in positions that are doubtful, then people will talk about you. And then you should not complain that why are they talking? Islam wants you to protect your dignity, your respect. So if a person, for example, chooses to go into a bar, for whatever reason, he would say in himself, I'm doing Amr bil Ma'ruf, for example. But people may not see that there is a noble agenda in him going to those places. If you interact with Ahlul Fisq, with the wretched ones, you mix with them, people who are drinking, for example, people who are known of ma'asiyah, then people will develop a certain opinion about you. They'll start counting you amongst them because you are associating yourself with wrong ones. You have put yourself into a group of tuhma, and therefore people will think about you in the same way. You should not put yourself where people will have a low opinion about you. You should not just act in certain way that now people look at this person, what is he doing? What is he? What is his character? Okay? They will form an opinion about you according to the way you act in the public. This is why Imam says that, "Oh Allah, put me at the best opinion of the Ahl Salah." Note that they develop suspicion about me. The way I talk, the way I walk, the way I dress, the way I interact with people, it should not put suspicion about me. And when you realize that there is some talk from those who are Ahl Salah about you, then it's a pointer that there's something wrong. Therefore, we should develop a sense of being among the Ahl Salah, among the people who are righteous, and that we should also make an effort to be trusted, to be among those whom the righteous ones have a good opinion about. And this also draws us to another important line, that we shouldn't think of ourselves not to be known to the righteous ones, and especially the Aimma alayhim salam. That we are exposed and we are shown to them, and we are known of what we are. And we may not be able to hide ourselves so much from them. One should become a little bit cautious and hasty to commit certain acts that will be embarrassing in the eyes of the Ma'asumin alayhim salam. That they do not have a good opinion about you. Now, if the curtains were removed and you became in the presence of the Ma'asum, for example, what opinion would he have about you? Would he say about you the way he said about this one righteous person, Zakaria bin Adam. Zakaria bin Adam, one of the companions of the Imam alayhi salam, that reached to a rank whereby Imam, if I'm not mistaken, Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says that he is a person to be entrusted on deen and dunya. He is so trustworthy that Imam has no doubt about him being the custodian of deen and dunya. Or you would see that some companions reach to this level whereby the Imams consider them to be thiqah, like there's the sufara, among the sufara al-arba'a, okay, whereby Imam mentions about them as thiqah. This is not a simple opinion that comes from the Imam, that he says about a person that he is thiqah, is trustworthy. Would we be at that level of trust? The Imam would trust us and really have confidence in us or not? In the eyes of other people, yes. But you see, there are things that are revealed about us to the A'imma alayhim salam, to the Prophet. They know about us. There are stories, many stories about this. A person went to the ziyarat of Imam Rida alayhi salam. Normally, Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. When a person goes to such places, he expects his needs to be fulfilled, his desires to be fulfilled by the honor and the respect and jah of the Imam alayhi salam. So it happens that he has asked, he has prayed, but none of his needs has been granted. So he says, without being heard by anybody, he says that he would like to know what is his real position in the eyes of Ma'asumin, the eyes of the Imams. Sheikh Makarim Shirazi, when explaining this dua Makarim al-Akhlaq, narrates this story. So before he goes far from the haram, somebody comes and calls him by the name that is not known to many people, by his exact name, so and so. And then he starts telling him of what is his position in the eyes of Imam alayhim salam, in the eyes of the Ma'asumin alayhim salam. It looks like he did not have very good qualities. And it's open. And this is what we need to pay attention to in this part of this dua. وَمِن ذِلَّةِ أَهْلِ الصَّلَاحِ الثِّقَةِ. So it's not that it's no one's business, it's my own way of life, I don't care. No, that's the wrong attitude. That a Muslim, a mu'min, is careful about how he is seen in the eyes of other people, whether they are fusaq or they are Ahl Salah, but he must be more careful about the opinion of Ahl Salah about him, and especially the Ma'asumin alayhim salam. Then he says, وَمِنْ عَدَاوَةِ الْأَدْنَيْنَ الْوَلَايَةِ. The beauty of the expression of Aimma alayhim salam, the masters of language, the way they changes the expressions in different ways. So in this part he says, وَمِنْ عَدَاوَةِ الْأَدْنَيْنَ الْوَلَايَةِ. In some translations, if you look at al-adnayna, they say the close ones. However, I can look into the meanings of al-adnayn. It's not the close ones, but those who are lowly, those who are low in everything, in all aspects. So Imam, again, here is asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that he replaces the enmity of al-adnayna, those who are lowly in status, to the position of walaya. And when they explain the meaning of walaya here, it's not wilaya, it's walayatun. It means the highest level of love. So you have al-mahabba, and that is that's the affection, the love in the heart. Then we have mawadda, whereby a person expresses his love. And then we have al-walaya, this fellowship, this is submission to the person that one loves, it follows. Imam asks Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that he grants him the affection, the fellowship, and the acceptance of those who are lowly. Why? Because these people who are at this level, they would be expected to act with enmity because of hasad, because of them feeling to be deprived of certain privileges and certain favors. So they would feel bad about those who are higher to them. They will act with that kind of attitude. And this is one of the ibtila'at that when a person may encounter in social interactions, social life, that you have people who look at you as a person who is at higher status compared to them. And therefore the attitude becomes of enmity. The Imam says that I pray to you, O Allah, that you grant me not just their love, but they reach to a level whereby they express their love and they follow me, they accept me. There's that rank of fellowship that I would like to gain. Again, when you look in these du'as, Imam is not just saying that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to act miraculously, to grant him all these things, and he is seated. Just remain how you are and these things will happen. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will put love in these people and they will change, and this is not the way. There is dua and there is sa'i. So there's praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at the same time. There is an effort from a person to earn these things. So a person wishing that the people who are lowly develop love for him, he must not treat the people who are lowly with things that they will cause them enmity and to act with in a bad way to him. He will not expose himself to the enmity of others. So he does good, he does ihsan, he does things that would avoid him from the enmity, will protect him from the enmity of others. So there is two ways in it. One, asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for protection, but the other way, or the other thing, is the responsibility of doing ihsan, doing good, and acting righteously towards those people who are lowly. And then he continues, وَمِنْ عُقُوقِ ذَوِي الْأَرْحَامِ الْمَبَرَّةِ. And from the disrespect, uquq is ma'siyah, is cutting off, is acting badly in a way that it cuts off the ties. Normally, uquq is used towards the parents. When a person annoys the parents, it does something bad to the parents, that they are annoyed and they are unhappy, that is uquq. And when it comes to the relatives, to those who are related by womb, normally the word that is used is qati'ah, so cutting off the ties. But here Imam generalizes this, that from the disrespect, from the act of those who are close to me by womb, who are related to me by womb, that you change it into devotion, into love, into doing of good. Again, here a pointer that it happens that among the people who are related, there comes enmity because of different things, because of hasad, because of some having privileges here and there. So it's natural that they may develop this kind of difficulties and problems in their own relationship. And Imam is asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that he replaces that with love. And again, here it means that a person makes an effort to correct things, that the relatives try as much as they can to mend their relationships and to come together, that they don't encourage enmity. So if a difference comes up because of anything, you don't just neglect and you don't just assume, and so long as you are not in need, I don't care about how they feel and all that. That you make an effort to be barron, to be good to your relatives, even if they cut off your relationship, even if they do wrong to you, that you be the person that does al-birr. And this is the akhlaq and the guidance of Aimma alayhim salam. And we will stop here because of the time. Inshallah ta'ala, we'll continue with the next lines. Bi-idhnillahi ta'ala, in another opportunity. Allahumma khfir lana والجميع المؤمنين والمؤمنات الأحياء منهم والأموات تابع اللهم بيننا وبينهم بالخيرات بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من اللعين الشيطان الرجيم بفضل الله بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وآله الطاهرين. عباد الله أوصيكم ونفسي بتقوى الله عز وجل والورع عن محارم. Once again, let me remind myself and remind all of you to be cautious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في محكم كتابه المجيد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وجعلنا الليل والنهار آيتين فمحونا آية الليل وجعلنا آية النهار مبصرة لتبتغوا فضلا من ربكم ولتعلموا عدد السنين والحساب وكل شيء فصلناه تفصيلا وكل إنسان ألزمناه طائره في عنقه ونخرج له يوم القيامة كتابا يلقاه منشورا. آمنا بالله صدق الله العلي العظيم. اللهم صل على محمد. أبت صلوات اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Because of time, we may not be able to expound on these verses, but just a quick reflection on them to remind us of the ayat, the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, hoping that you find time to read them, read these ayats and ponder about them and think about them further. These are ayats in Surah Al-Isra, ayah number 12 to 13. And similarly, there are ayats from Surah Yunus from ayah number 5 to ayah number 9. I chose these ayats today because we are at the end of the solar year, whether that's true with our way of counting years or not, but the general atmosphere is that it is the end of the year, and all of us are affected by this. In whichever case, it is important to think about this important phenomenon in our lives. The life and how it moves from one stage to another. I spoke a little bit last night about the importance of taking care of Umr, of our own age, as we are reminded in the riwayat, in Najul Balagha, and other similar riwayats. In these verses, if you take a moment and think about them, that the alternation of the night and the day is made to be one of the greatest ayats, greatest signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, indicating the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the purpose of the creation. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, we have made the night and the day to be two ayats, to be two verses, to be two signs, great signs, ayatain. We erased the ayah of the night, the sign of the night, and made the ayah or the sign of the day, mubsiratan, revealing, exposing, showing things, and giving light. Why? That you may seek bounty, favors from your Lord. And not the number of years, so that you can also come to count the years, to know the years. So there is measurement in that. There is need for you to know the time and how we're moving from one day to another. Adad as-sinina wal hisab, the calculation. We have explained all things in detail. فَصَّلْنَاهُ وَكُلَّ شَيْءٍ فَصَّلْنَاهُ تَفْصِيلًا. Then immediately after this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that on the day of Qiyamah, everyone will be given his book, which determines his fate. And he will be asked to read from this book. This is the book that contains all our a'mal. And from this and other ayats, you can see the connection of why we live in this world, why there is hisab, why there is years, and why there is calculation, accounting, and everything. And the purpose of all this is that we need to know that we are supposed to utilize every moment, every time in this temporal life for a greater purpose, and that is for eternal life, as according to the riwayah, which I will just read very quickly, which is reported from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, pointing to us the importance of time and hours. And you can see that the concept of hours is there in the riwayat also. It's not our own make. We have this in the ayats, in the ahadith. So عن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله يقول يفتح للعبد يوم القيامة على كل يوم من أيام عمره. So on the day of Qiyamah, every day will be like a vessel that will be opened for him. من أيام عمره 24 خزانة. That every day has like 24 containers. That's 24 hours. عدد ساعات الليل والنهار. The amount of hours in the day and night. فخزانة يجدها مملوءة نورا وسرورا. He will find a vessel that is full of light and happiness. فيناله عند مشاهدتها. When he opens it, he will be so much happy that it will surprise the people of the hell. And الإحساس بألم النار, it will make them feel the pain of Jahannam because of the happiness that comes from this person. What is this hour? He says, وَهِيَ السَّاعَةُ الَّتِي أَطَاعَ فِيهَا رَبَّهُ. This is the hour that he obeyed Allah in it. It makes him so happy, so joyful that all the people of hell, they will feel the happiness of this person. ثُمَّ يُفْتَحْ لَهُ خِزَانَةٌ أُخْرَى. Then another vessel will be opened for him. فَيَرَاهَا مُظْلِمَةً مُفْرِغَةً مُفْزِعَةً. He'll find it to be scaring. He'll find it dark. And because of it, he will be so scared, so afraid that his own grief will make the people of Jannah to lose the sweetness of the enjoyment of the things that they are given. And this is what hour? He says, وَهِيَ سَاعَةً الَّتِي عَصَى اللَّهَ فِيهَا. This is the hour that he made ma'siyah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. ثُمَّ يُفْتَحْ لَهُ خِزَانَةٌ أُخْرَى. Then another vessel will be opened for him. فَيَرَاهَا فَارِغَةً لَيْسَ فِيهَا مَا يَسُرُّ. He will see that it is empty, doesn't have anything to make him joyful nor sad. وهي الساعة التي نام فيها أو اشتغل فيها بشيء من مباحات الدنيا. This is the hour that he did not do anything useful in it. He was either asleep or he engaged in things that are mubahat, ordinary things. فَيَنَالُهُ مِنَ الْغُبْنِ وَالْأَسَفِ. So he will regret of why he did not fill this vessel with something that would make him joyful. على فواتها. This is where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, ذَلِكَ يَوْمُ التَّغَابُنِ. This is the day that one regrets that he did not fill the vessels of his umr with good things. The hours of the day are like vessels. You choose what you fill them with. You may fill them with good things, with ta'ah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make you joyful and happy. You may fill them with ma'asi wal iyadhu billah, then that's what you're going to reap also of sadness and grief. Or you may leave it empty and not do anything, and that's the khasara, the loss that one will encounter. You must choose. And remember this, al-layl wal-nahar ya'malani fik. Day and night, they work on you. وَيَأْخُذَانِ مِنْكَ. And they take from you things. فَعَمَلَا فِيهِمَا. So work in those, in the night and in the day. And take from them what they take from you. This is the rasmal. A day, every day that we are given in our lives is the gift of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we do not celebrate for it passing. If it passed in ta'ah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we celebrate, we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for it, and we prepare for another day, asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for tawfiq. And this is how we should be treating these days, and how we should approach new days. That every day should be a day that it's amana, it's the gift. We have to treat it in the best way possible. That we utilize every moment in what is useful. And we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us tawfiq, that our lives are full of happiness and success, and that we make progress towards achieving the acceptance and the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. اللهم صل على محمد عبدك ورسولك وصل على علي أمير المؤمنين وصل على فاطمة الزهراء